regular city council meeting for Monday, August 12th, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order. We can all stand up and say the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I roll call, please, Cheryl?
Dylan Meyer.
Yes.
Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda. Questions, comments, concerns with anything on there? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Dylan Meyer.
Yes.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
Matt Hardy.
Yep.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Matt Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, number 5, we'll skip. So number 6, consent agenda. Again, questions, comments, concerns with anything on there?
Did I reiterate the building permits for chickens?
Yeah. We have chicken ordinance. No.
Is it, I think we can have chickens, just can't have roosters, right?
Right.
I don't,
No roosters.
I don't care if they have
Yeah,
chicken.
we should.
It's the first request I've seen like that.
I know, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Eggs aren't cheap.
Huh?
Eggs aren't cheap.
I mean, a fence is a fence no matter what you use it for.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just totes. No
Okay.
chicken around here.
And they looked at it and it meets all requirements and stuff?
Yeah, it's not, it's just a
Okay.
little chicken run, it's not
Yeah.
by any means near any property lines or anything, so. 23 by 18.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
And roll call, please.
Matt Hardy.
Yep.
Matt Peterson.
Yep.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Dylan Meyer.
Yes.
Adam Ryder.
Yes. Number 7, resolution 2024-5, discuss and consider approval of resolution to authorize the transfer funds from FitCor Fund to Westside Park Improvement Fund. Cheryl, you wanna kind of touch on this and tell everybody what's going on?
Yeah, well, Preston Gustafson had a FitCor account that took in revenues, expenses, and it's just was FitCor project and all their fundraising and grants and everything's done. It was a consensus that at the end of the fiscal year, they would close out the FitCor account. And they did have remaining money of $2,628.23, and they wanted to use those funds and start up a West Side Improvement Fund. That way they can still have an account that will continue to have equity balance in it, so they can accept revenues from the canned donations for one thing, and put it towards just improvements to West Side. Say there's assistance in moving, or they want to get a piece of equipment that, it'll still come through council approval, but it's just to, improvements, and then they can still accept canned donations, and that money would roll over from year to year.
Yeah, so we're just trying to do a better job of these different projects and funds that start up, and then trying to do a better job of, once that project is done, we close it out, so it's basically off our books, so we don't have this continual fund that just kind of stays there forever. I think the auditor was kind of on us about closing some of these out too.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, so.
Can you not just have a general park fund? I mean, instead of renaming it all the time, just have it, this is park committee money or growth and development money, instead of having to do a resolution to change it from the name of FitCor to West Side, and then West Side to Too Good and whatever.
Well, I think their intentions were that the can collections stay towards the West Side Park.
Yeah.
That's been kind of what the donation sign has always said, that all donations will go towards West Side Park improvements, whether it be the FitCor course or whether it be anything else, so that's.
Is this 26, 28? that can money though, that, okay, then that's gonna get turned into West Side
Right, it just,
And I think it'll just change the west side and it'll just be that forever, so I don't think you have to worry about it ever changing again.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I understand it.
Kind of along those lines though, I mean, I've said that in the past, I would like to see once Peppermint Park is done, that there's a park committee, you know, not,
Yeah, just a
you know,
park.
this park, that park, you know, and whether, you know, I've got no issues with that money staying up there, if that's where they wanna keep it, but I think there needs to be one park committee.
Yeah, and that's not to say that, you know, we have the parks fund, that we budget for every year. You know, I guess this was just more or less money that was raised or donated, just for that specific FitCor project. It's basically whatever was left, that group, however it, you know, evolved, you know, into kind of just a West Side Park group, more so. That was their ask, I guess, was just to keep whatever leftover money was in the fund, that it stay with that, so that's
because
why.
even though the FICOR project has been done for a while and paid for, they've still collected can donations
Right.
for West Side Park
Right.
throughout the whole, since it's been done, so that's where those monies in there. And they funded some things for like the events at the, West Side Park that isn't considered a Preston Growth and Development event, like the support of the Halloween party, and just various things like that,
Right.
that they help with, or, that, yeah, so.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, I mean, they put a lot of time and effort in up there, but just kind of going off of what I hear a lot is, you know, why do we have multiple park projects going at once? So I think that's something, just something to be considered of in the future, like I said, once Peppermint Park's done.
Well, that's really our only open project left, right? That was divided or whatever, all these different groups.
Yeah.
I mean, do we make, I don't wanna say make it so we don't start another project until that one's done, but if we have money coming in that's donated to the city or whatever, let's get that thing done.
Yeah, well, it kind of sounds like they're just looking to do smaller
Yeah.
improvements and stuff with these funds.
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just kind of looking at like big projects, you know, in the future.
Have a park committee for this.
Right, yeah.
Yep. 100%. Okay, so does anybody have any more questions with anything regarding that fund, or how that's set up?
It's just all transfers and require a resolution,
Yeah.
so we're just kind of following the guidelines on that, and that way it can be documented that we're all in agreement that they're, can carry that money over and start a new account.
Okay, if there's no other discussion needed, I'll ask for a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-5, transferring funds from FitCor Fund to West Side Park Improvement Fund.
Second,
Second.
and roll call please.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Dylan Meyer,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
Matt Charlie.
Yep.
Okay, number 8, discuss and consider approval of downtown incentive grant award for Ken Anderson, Anderson Pharmacy facade program, in the amount of $5,000. So in your packet, you'll see his application. I'm assuming that the committee, has,
Yes, the committee has discussed and reviewed the application. It is for the facade grant, which, that is a one-to-one match up to $5,000. So, and this project falls well within the scope of that, with his quotes for the estimate of the windows he wants to replace, the big windows in front plus the little ones that angle in and above the door. That came to $18,200, so the committee, after reviewing the application, the proposed window replacement project falls within the facade program guidelines. Requested amount of $5,000 is the maximum grant award, meets the applicant's required match. Committee is unanimously in favor of giving the full grant award, asking $5,000.
Remind me who's on the committee and how much funds are available.
Since this is, it's not really limited, since it's rebated back through TIF. So, as long as we offer the downtown incentive plan program, we don't limit the funds per year.
Yeah, it comes, the downtown incentive money comes out of TIF.
No,
Many
understood.
members,
Just curious how much. I didn't know if there was.
Who sets the limits?
Yeah, if there was a max on it or not. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, did we set that 5,000 or did?
Each program has its own max, and it requires a certain amount of match from, just depending on which program it was. So the upper story, that Kiefer's got awarded, the max award was for that was 20,000. You know, and they're spending, you know, and their stipulations, they got the catalyst grant, which they did. The city needed some show of contribution in order for them to get the catalyst grant, so that was our contribution, but it is still paid through TIF program, so. The committee members are myself, Adam, Kelly Brown from Jackson County Economic Alliance, and Brenda Kuna.
Good to see improvements.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I mean, it's within the spirit of the program. I mean, you know, within the amount spelled out that they'd be eligible for, so I didn't have any issue with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, ultimately, that's what the program is there to do, is to
Right,
help,
for sure.
help downtown, business owners do improvements and anything, we can do to help, you know, obviously, we're willing to do, so. Yeah, I think it's working like it should, so. Okay, any other questions on that? So those are the two big windows in the front and then a couple on the side, nothing above.
I think there's just a small window that he will do the above, not in the upper
Okay.
story,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah,
right above the door.
yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Unless there's any other discussion, I will ask for a motion to approve the downtown incentive award.
I'll make a motion to approve the downtown incentive grant award for Ken Anderson.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Matt Charity?
Yep.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Bill Meyer?
Yes.
Tracy Thompson?
Yes.
Adam Ryder?
Yes.
Okay, number 9, discuss and consider approval of contractor's payment, request of number 1 to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete, in the amount of $126,183.52. Did you get, I know you had some questions on some of the stormwater stuff.
I did,
Did you get that?
I know at one point when we did another street project that we budgeted road use from and paid it all out of road use, it had water, infrastructure along with the street project,
Mhm.
and we got in trouble for not budgeting, paying some of it out of water. And since this had stormwater improvements associated with the project, I wanted to be sure that we weren't gonna get in trouble by not paying some of this out of stormwater. But I did, contact Mary Beth from the Iowa DOT. She oversees the street financial report, and it lists the things that are, eligible for road use money. And constructing new or improving existing storm sewer systems to provide street drainage is eligible to be paid out of road use. Road use funds cannot be used when the stormwater is not part of a street project. So the other little stormwater project we can't use road use for, but as long as it's in connection with the street project, or reconstruction or improvement project, the only thing that can't be is sanitary sewer systems are not eligible for funds as well. So we are safely within, and we budgeted the entire project out of road use, so we are okay to pay this. And I recommend paying out of road use as budgeted.
And then I assume by Mark's signature on this too, that he's okay, but he's okayed it up to this point.
Yep, they have reviewed it, and I think, even on the, I kind of looked at the last page here, Cause you add them all up, it adds up to 132,824.78. There is a retainage of 5% in the amount of $6,641.24. Full amount due is $126,183.52.
Is there a reason to have a retainage midway through the project? I mean, if it's signed
I think
up.
they just keep through the whole project.
Okay, I thought it was maybe, I only remember it being right at the end, just to make sure everything got finalized, not like,
I never paid that close attention to it in the past, but maybe so when the contract payment number 2 comes, if it'll be 5%, I assume it's 5% of the 132. And then the next one, they'll retain 5 more percent of that, for a total of 5% of the project, but again, I never paid that close attention to this, I'm not.
but they, obviously, the contractor signed off on it, or they're
Yeah.
okay with the way this is, so it
Yeah.
must be something
It's
normal.
broke down, yeah.
Gotcha, okay,
Yeah.
I was curious.
I have had a comment, a couple neighbors down there that have been very complimentary of the crew and the project going on. So it was really good to hear, you know, and I've been down there myself. They've been really pleasant to work with and courteous and making sure people can get to their homes and stuff at night, willing to work with people and stuff. So so far, you know, I've really been impressed with it. But it sounds like a lot of the neighborhood, anybody I've talked to anyway has been also.
Good.
So.
Good, that's good to hear. Yeah, whenever I've been down there, it seems like they're making good progress, you know, every day. And yeah, it seems like people are adjusting, you know, to do what they can to get in and out, you know, without too big of interruptions, but yeah, that's good to hear that it's,
They're trying to work with you, you know,
Yeah.
to get it out down there for sure.
yeah.
Is there any, know when they're gonna come in and actually do blacktop work?
I haven't heard a final date. I know the curbs all laid and sidewalks are supposed to possibly start this week.
You know, looks like they're working on them.
Are they?
They're prepping for it anyway, you know, so.
And yeah, as far as the actual paving, I haven't heard a start date yet. I would assume pretty soon.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the Mercy, whenever they show up too, you know.
Right.
I did call Eric just on that note of paving too. If it's possible, I told him to try to reach out, while they're here paving, give them a better chance than, you know, up on School Street.
Yeah,
Where you put, you know, sewer in up there it's getting worse, you know.
Yeah.
They could just kind of level that out.
yeah,
And then where you put the culvert in, over there too, I can't remember the street on it right now, but Emily's old house. That to do that too, so maybe we could, you know,
yeah,
that might be a little, I don't wanna step my bounds, but it'd be a great time to do it.
yeah,
If everybody's okay with it.
yep, yep.
No better time than when they're here.
Right, right.
It's
Yeah,
gonna warm up
exactly.
A lot, you know.
instead of us putting down what, cold bag or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, this would be the way to do it, you know, so.
Yeah. Yep.
So Eric was gonna check into it and contact, see what I can come up with.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. All right, does anybody have any other questions about, payment request for number 1? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve payment request number 1.
I'll make a motion to approve the request number 1 for payment to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete in the amount of $126,183.52.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Matt Charity,
Yep.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
JT Thompson, Dylan Meyer.
Yes.
Number 10, discuss and consider approval of 28E police agreement with the city of Miles. So Chad had some exciting news, from the council meeting, over Miles last week, so if you wanna touch on that a little bit, Chad, I'll let you kind of.
Yeah, so how we got here, I guess, is just, you know, it's been a goal of mine to reestablish that contract, just for obvious reasons. Let's see, we started this in May, I think we approached them and they were interested to hear what we had to say. Met with the police committee and come up with some numbers on, based off of a formula that we come up with for the contract. This past, was it Wednesday, had another meeting over there and our city attorney went through it, through the contract, and so did theirs. They added just a couple things that are really minute, just that they wanna report each month, which is not a problem. I'm actually gonna probably, in the beginning of the year, I'm probably gonna go to a monthly report for you guys, not a quarterly. It's just, it's easy to do, so just to give you an idea monthly. And, you know, this whole thing, you know, this kind of fits in our vision with what we're doing with the school. It makes things a lot easier for us when we're over there. So I think it's, you know, looking at it, I think it's a win for everybody involved, school included. You know, allows us to see what we're providing, see what they expect, the costs, and what we would, you know, potentially get in revenue off that, so. I don't know if in the past that was ever really figured out or separated out, but, going forward here, we can see, I think you guys all got the letter that I sent out just with the numbers, and you know, the amount that we recoup is based on this year's budget, so I mean, it's obviously gonna fluctuate, you know, from year to year. Got a 4-year contract, 5% increase after the first year. There is a 10% admin fee, which is a catch-all, you know, just basically for doing it, the administrative side, anything that would come up, any costs that might incur that are above what we initially budgeted for, that can grab, that 10% admin fee can grab some of that. And, so yeah, they were good with the terms, and they wanna roll with it. They did tell the sheriff's office was at the meeting, and they did tell them that they wanted to terminate. So my understanding is, and I haven't heard anything different, so they have a 30-day termination. So Miles has notified the county that they want to terminate. So there's a 30-day period. So my calculations is we would take over on September 8th for providing law enforcement over there. So that's how I figured. That's how I ran it by the county. Haven't heard that, no, that's not right, so.
Yeah.
So we got our agreement set up for the 8th,
Okay.
so, and both sides, our city attorney and theirs was good with everything in there, language-wise, content-wise, so.
Okay. And you feel confident you and Adam can handle it
Yeah.
with the school?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, one thing that, you know, that I made clear to Miles is, you know, with what we had going with the school, is a separate thing. Our presence over there is not on Miles' dime when we're actually functioning in the school, but that does give Miles a little more visibility of us being
Right.
And if there's a call in town, we're right there. So, you know, they looked at all that stuff and talked about it, and, you know, I think we've mended a lot of fences with them. I think, you know, going forward, I think we're gonna be in a lot better place. And I'm pretty open and transparent, and I wanna, you know, if there's any questions that they have, or you guys have, or anyone has, you know, I wanna make sure we get those answered, and so we're all on the same page, so there's no.
I guess I got a couple. I was gonna try to reach out before, but I was a little busy and stuff, but, so that it's 40 hours per month, so 10 hours a month, just, or.
Yeah, it's just, it's 40 hours a month, so.
So you can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, it's pretty, and you know, it's hard to hit right at 40, so there might be days where, you know, months where it may be a little over, maybe a little under, but I think at the end of the year, you know, I think it'll all balance out. And I actually contacted our records management company and had them generate a form for me, so I can generate this form to break down all the hours, not to get into all the details, JT probably know what I'm talking about, but I established new grids for the schools, so schools, Miles, Spragueville, it's all different, so I can basically go in there and put the grid number in, and it'll tell exactly how many hours we have. And I think that's what Miles is looking for, to make sure that they're getting, you know, their coverage, their money for
Yeah.
the.
I don't blame them, they should.
Right?
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so you can do, and that's, I think that's a lot better than, you gotta get 10 hours a week.
yeah,
Just-
exactly.
If we got stuff going on over here, they might just be shorter, if they got stuff going on over there.
I do like how Chad said too, I hope it's more valuable to them if we're over there, or we have a call, they don't have to pay that time to
and sorry I did, one thing that I thought that should be in the contract is, when you have to work on a case that's above and beyond, you know, I get to patrol in and handle some calls, but man, if you run into, you know, a financial crime case, sexual assault, anything like that, that takes a lot of time to deal with, you know, that just takes a lot of time away from Preston hours and, you know, you know what I'm saying there, Chad? Some of them cases
Yeah,
take a while.
And that's kind of the
Work.
idea, that's kind of the idea behind that administrative fee.
Okay,
So it's 10% of what they paid for the year, and that will be due at the end of the year of 1 year of the contract, because we're on September 8th, we're kind of with that date, so we're gonna go September 8th of this year to next year, and then so September 8th to 25, we bill them for that admin fee, and that's designed to catch that kind of stuff.
kind of, okay.
You know, fuel that we went, you know, when initially came in here and budgeted, we didn't have anything for the SRO or this, so, you know, those things are hopefully gonna be caught in that $3,000, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, and, you know, we just have to, if something like that would come up, we just have to, you know, put our heads together, reevaluate, or see how we.
Well, maybe that's something you just need to put on your radar, cause I know working on a lot of them cases, sometimes they take a lot of time. It's like, okay, whose time is that coming out of?
Well, yeah, if you spend 4 hours in the office on a deal from over there, is that part of their patrol hours?
I'm gonna try to avoid doing that as much as I can, cause that's gonna, as far as tracking time, it goes by, so when I go over to Miles Rad, we go over there, we call out CP, which is contract control, and there's a call for service meeting. So then that generates, so when we clear there, so there's, say we got 30 minutes, you know, so that's documented, and that's what I can pull up. I can't, unless I put myself on the call, I guess if I needed my office to do that, I mean, you can do that. I wanna try to avoid that as much as I can, and if it's something I can pull into the parking lot in Miles, and, you know, we can do everything down here as we can in here, for the most part. Try to do those reports over there. You know, and there's gonna be times when, you know, you have an interview, or need to interview somebody where you're gonna need an office space, so, you know, that might come here, but essentially it'll be on Miles's time, but
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna try to limit that as much as I can, so I can track it better, and so.
But not a bad conversation to have with the mayor of Miles, probably, if they do agree to sign everything like we do. That, you know, if there is a case where JT's talking, there might be some less patrol for a little bit, because we have so much time involved, and I think they're understanding of that.
Yeah, and you know, as far as, that's the patrol hours, and then, you know, obviously it includes call response too, so I mean, if we're over there for half an hour for a day, and then there's a call over there, we're gonna go over there, you know, that's just part of it, and, you know, and that's gonna be my job, to kinda make sure that we keep that balance as best we can, and sometimes it can be difficult, you know, you wouldn't think it would be, but you gotta.
Hopefully it just averages out at the end of the year, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that, and like, you know, I think the biggest thing too is just be transparent with, you know,
Right.
both sides, you know what I mean? Like, that, to me, that covers a lot, you know, when you know, they don't feel like we're trying to pull something over on them too, you know, and something like that. So just as long as we're transparent with everybody, and everybody can, I think everybody's pretty reasonable when it comes to that stuff.
I think that is one place we failed in the past a little bit, you know, so hopefully we can.
Well, yeah, and I recognize that, and I'm not gonna let that happen, you know, I'm gonna try to take care of those problems, or potential problems, before they, you know,
Yeah.
get worse. Yep. Communication.
Well, yeah, and, you know, we trust you, Chad, so we're not trying to, you know, tell you anything you don't know.
Yeah, I know, I get it, yeah.
And I was, you know, vocal about whether this was the right thing or not for quite a while, until you start seeing what it can help us do to support that second officer and things like that. And it's, you know, and again, having the school involved now, being over there and stuff, it seemed to fall into place a lot more for me anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
it definitely just fits into that whole vision, you know, just.
Yep.
So that's, that, you know, any questions on that, or?
What was the contract again? 3 years or?
4 years.
Okay.
4 years, you know, I told him we wanted a 4-year commitment to it.
Okay.
And then the increase of 5%, which is fair, because I think the cost of living is like 9, so, that was more than fair, and I think reasonable for both sides, so.
Yeah, everybody's good with it. I don't have an issue with it at all.
In the old contract, was it a 30-day out, like if either side wanted to exit?
I believe so.
It might have been more than that.
That's what I was
So?
thinking.
I think it,
I was thinking it was 60 or 90 days. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, it sounds like their agreement with the sheriff's office was 30 days.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the initial one you had, or the last one you had was. $30 days, it looks like.
Okay.
It's 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with the 30 days. I think that's.
Yeah, I
Hopefully it doesn't come, hopefully it
Right,
doesn't
I
come to
don't-
that again.
I think
so.
we're at a point where I don't think either side is really thinking that's gonna be anything to be worried about, but just,
And we haven't brought anything on or anything more to take this on, so if, God forbid it didn't work out, we're losing out either, I guess,
Mhm.
compared to where we're at right now.
right.
Right. Okay,
It'll work out.
Yep.
yeah, no, I think it's a good thing. I think, like I said, I think having school involved with, I think it kind of just, it makes sense.
But I think we've learned things to be better, this time around, they've learned things to help us be better and be more understanding and, what you get for the money and they know the value and things like that too, so. I think it's probably, hopefully it's definitely, helped us out.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Okay, unless there's any other discussion needed on that, I will ask for motion to approve the 28E, police agreement with the city of Miles.
I'll make a motion to approve the 28E agreement with the city of Miles.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
Jill Meyer,
Yes.
Matt Jardy,
Yep.
Jason Thompson.
Good.
Okay, number 11, discuss and consider approving donation for Jackson County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Department K-9 program. We've done this in the past. Is this?
Yeah, I looked it up, it seemed like about every 3 or 4 years. In
Yeah.
2018, we gave $1,000 that we paid out, split between the 5 utilities. In 2021, we gave $500 out of economic development funds. Just to note, we do have community funds available through WPPI where we can take some money out of, or we could, again, divide it out of the utilities that have a line item for contribution funds. And there's 500 budgeted for each utility, so, I'd recommend we take $100 out of each of the 5 utilities for a total of 500. Any other comments?
I'm good with that too. I would rather not, I'd rather leave the WPPI money for, more
Preston?
Preston-centric stuff, yeah. Whatever the things.
I'm good with
That's
that.
fine with me. Okay, everybody good for with the $500 donation? Okay. Okay,
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
JT Thompson,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
and Charlie.
Okay, number 12, discuss and consider approving repair replacement option of fire hydrant. So in the packet, you'll see, a quote looks like, so I guess Cheryl, kind of give us a backstory on this. Where's this at exactly?
The one that's bagged over here on the
Okay.
corner.
Okay,
During hydrant flushing, Tim was also doing some pressure test for flow valves and everything. And one of the flow valves were stuck. He explained to me, I'm not a big hydrant guru, but the seating ring, it was stuck in the base of the, it's stuck in the boot of the hydrant.
okay.
And Tim doesn't have the wrench to get it out, and plus the lower stem is rusted apart. So he got a list of what it would take to fix it, or what supplies would be needed to fix it, and that amount totaled $22.94. And then he in turn went ahead and got a quote to replace the whole thing, and that was
38, 25.
so it would save us $1,531 if we had it fixed. And the guy that, with the company said he'd come out and help Tim fix it for nothing. They're a new vendor and they kind of run our business, and he said just as long as you think it's gonna be a learning experience, he'd be happy to come help us fix it.
That was my question, what labor cost difference was gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked him that too, so he,
That might be a great experience for Tim then to learn how to do that.
This is,
Right.
that'd be basically a brand new hydrant except for the exterior.
except for the exterior, they really do,
They're-
they last forever.
Actually, yeah. Cash,
Um,
looks like, can't go back.
Quite normally, I'm not in favor of sticking that kind of money into it, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think fix it.
I think it's a big enough difference that it's worth fixing, but
Mhm.
that's up to everybody else.
Yeah, if you
Like I
fixed it
said, I
brand
don't know
new, just
100% about fire hydrants.
So
Tim,
my
okay with
question-
going that route?
That was my question, how much was left, like, after it was replaced, like, what's
Right.
left inside of it? I mean, it's, if I have a house fire, this is the hydrant, that's gonna fix that at my
Right.
house, so,
Yeah.
rather it's fixed right, you know.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, what's Tim's recommendation?
He thought he should fix it too, but he wanted to, just in case you had a question, he wanted to tell you what it cost to get a new one, just,
Yeah.
he said he didn't care either way, but and a new one, if they went that way, he felt confident him and Eric could install that by themselves, but.
50% more.
As long as it's just as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, as long as it's, as long as in a couple years, something else is gonna break.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always lean to like just replace it.
That's kind of where I was at too. I mean, it was $2,400 now or whatever, and then it's $1,500 in a couple years.
And I don't disagree with that, but I guess I'd like to just hear it straight from Tim that,
Yeah.
hey, it's just as good as a new one if we do this.
Yeah.
If he says it's not, then that's,
He initially told me he'd go ahead and fix it, I mean, he had confidence that it was
Yeah.
gonna be fine as a repair.
Okay, I get it
Just
fixed.
plan on having a house fire.
If you're out of water, you can shower my place.
Okay.
I don't think Tim cuts any corners, so.
Right.
No, I don't think so. And I think too, Tim's the kind of guy too, like if they get into it and it's not what it, I think he would come back and say, we just need to replace it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
Do we need to throw that out there if it's?
I wonder how that works.
Just have that
Shut down
conversation.
water to that and it's tore apart.
Yeah.
yeah.
Any days I'll, don't have to come over.
No, we're at work, it'll be all right.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess like Matt said, just have that conversation with them. If they rip into it and it's not what they think, then,
Go with the new one then.
yeah,
Yeah.
just,
If they can fix it, fix it.
yeah. Yep. Okay, so should we just approve the new one if necessary, if not,
That's how I was gonna say.
fix it?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay.
And I do it, I can make a motion to repair for the $22.94. If they would get into it and doesn't seem feasible to repair it, go ahead and replace, I lost it here, help me out, for the
Courage
Johnson?
Yes.
Adam Ryder?
Yes.
Dylan Meyer?
Yes.
Matt Charity?
Yep.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Okay, 13, discuss and consider approving the Community Catalyst Building Grant Development Agreement. So again, we kind of touched on this a little bit ago, or Cheryl did, with Kiefer's.
Yeah, the agreement was in the packet, it's part of the grant process. I just wanted to include it in the, packet to show the council how the Catalyst program works and the program obligations for both sides, scope of work. They do have until July of 26 to complete the project. And I did touch on it before, that the city's financial commitment was the $20,000 through the downtown incentive program. And, this basically is saying that the council approves the mayor as a signer on behalf of the city for this part of the process.
Is there somebody that inspects at the end to make sure that everything has been followed and been done as planned?
They
Is that
have to submit, yeah,
all kinds of stuff, don't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of,
It's through the state now.
Yeah.
yeah, it's through the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and they require a lot of updates and pictures and,
Good.
yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm all for it, I just wanna make, there's some follow through on it.
Yeah, oh,
Continuity.
yeah. Yep. Okay, does anybody have any questions about, anything in that agreement? Thank you for putting that in there so everybody can kind of see, read all the,
And I asked if it needed approval, like, it's up to Jim Thompson at the Iowa, and he's like, no, it's totally up to the council, if they, it's just part of the process. Then I said, Kelly, would you have it approved? She goes, why not, be transparent, where it's,
Right.
Right.
keeps them involved, and it's
yeah, no,
a good
absolutely.
thing, so.
Yeah, that way everybody can read it for themselves and
Mhm.
if they have any questions. Yep, okay, so unless there's any other questions or discussion, I'll ask for a motion to approve that agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the Community Catalyst Building Grant Development Agreement.
Second,
Second.
and roll call please.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Matt Charity?
Yep.
Dylan Meyer?
Yes.
Tracy Thompson?
Yes.
Adam Ryder?
Yes.
Okay, other business, Amos Street construction, we kind of touched on
Yeah,
a lot of this.
we talked about it, so.
Okay, ordinance enforcement, update and procedures. Chad, how are we sitting on?
Yeah, so
on this?
we went around and we only got 4 properties with a junk vehicle on. So, that fits the code.
Okay,
There's 2 on one property, but I seen it got, while I was doing that, like the next day, it was gone. So I read my mind, but,
Only
So-
4?
huh?
Only 4?
Only 4. Well, 4 properties. There's, one house has 2, and then there's 3 other ones that just have 1. And it's, I get more complaints and comments about the properties, the houses in town,
yeah,
that I feel is more of a health and welfare, safety thing than the cars. Cars, some of them have been there for 30 years probably, 20 years. I did get one complaint, I emailed you about it. It was, I think you guys had looked at it before, the trailer, and I just said I'd pass it up the chain and see what you guys thought. I would like, I guess that house down on Gillette Street is,
it's bad.
yeah, I mean,
That's-
that to me is more of
It's a
a,
safety issue.
It's gone too long.
that to me is more of an issue than cars. I mean, that's gonna collect a heck of a lot more than, not to say that ain't important, that we can't deal with it, which we
Yeah.
can. But, I didn't know what you guys were feeling, if you wanted to get the city attorney involved and have him look at our ordinance, give him an explanation of each property and what the problem is, and have him look at it and issue opinion, or even send a letter to the property owner.
What did, you talk to the,
Well, when I sent the email, I don't think it went to everybody.
yeah,
So
There's a lot of reading.
good stuff, though.
Yeah, I mean, interesting.
Yeah, so, I guess the quick rundown, I talked to Brad Coranda, which is a property maintenance, up there in Winoka. And talked to him about, well, we have all these houses and all this kind of stuff that are, that something needs to be done. And so like property maintenance, like we almost need to, like cars and all that stuff's like totally kind of separate but the same. But he goes, when you get into houses and buildings and all kinds of stuff, you almost need to adopt, what was it, the national or
State
state
property maintenance code is
code.
what he said.
You gotta like adopt this code. And basically it's a code that you gotta keep up on your property. You know, everything from painting, you know, to fix like what the problem we have down there, to if you got a dead tree in the yard, to, you know, it covers basically everything. Right, now you get to kind of pick and choose what you wanna, you know, the battle. Then once you adopt that, I think that would be pretty easy for us to adopt. Then he's like, well, the next thing you need to do is really like, he says up there, they have an actual board, sort of like a tree board or whatever. Because it's just citizens on the board that's giving directions to, the city, you know, on what to deal with. So then it's more, citizen-based complaints than it is like, hey, the city's picking on us, you know, or the city's doing this, or a couple council members doing something. So the board don't really have any authority, but they do guide, you know, what Brad does in the city to what properties to deal with. It just, he said it kinda, that way when they come back and complain, or if you ever would get into court, it's citizen-based stuff. Now, I said, you don't have to do that, but he goes, that would be my recommendation, and then you have one council member beyond that to be like the person to deal with that. And then, I don't know, there was a lot of hoops you have to jump through, like Chad could do a lot of them, and I think he's doing some already, sending a letter, doing all this. But then it gets to the point where you gotta get attorneys involved, and then, so like one example we had in Coca, there was a hole in somebody's roof, which fell under this, you know, what they had. The city paid, sent letters, fined her, all this stuff, and finally hired a contractor and fixed that roof. And then they assessed the, you know, the property for the taxes. So you can go down some crazy rabbit holes with this stuff.
So the house, the city just went on the property?
After they got a court order, basically, to get her done.
Okay.
That's all these hoops you gotta jump through.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I always, that abatement process makes the city, the judge, jury,
Yeah.
like, I don't like that process.
So they end up finding her, that, hey, you gotta get this fixed, you gotta do this, give her so much time. Then basically got a court order to fix the roof, and then whatever was billed there. So the city had to come up with money to get that done.
Right.
But I think it was assessed to her taxes.
And I completely agree on things like that, but when it comes to the house down there, the trailer, I think
There's no fixing.
those are two different things, in my mind.
The trailer might be a little different.
It might be.
Yeah,
But
but,
that house is just, it's,
gone.
somebody's gonna get in and get hurt, and it needs to be taken care of.
well, and I think when you get to like properties are that bad in this code, whatever, that you could force them to like, you know, tear it down and do whatever, cause it's so.
Do we, yeah, does that give
Or
the
the
city?
city
We
will
tear
get
it
a court
down.
order and they tear it down, and then they,
Assess them.
you know.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, that's what like, does that give the city the authority to condemn a property?
I think so, but it's all, there's a lot
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of
of,
legalities
there's
too.
processes and, you know, once you get a judge to sign off on it, that's no big deal, right? That's the quick rundown or whatever they come out.
And I agree on the things you said, that just needs to be handled.
Yeah.
I would
See,
start,
that's just
with
gone.
sending some letters, I would see if you can just get compliance on that stuff, and then if we got one property, maybe talk to the attorney and see, hey, in our code, can we force them or go to court to make them tear that down?
Yeah, can we take pictures of it and send it to our attorney and do something and just focus just on that one for now at least?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that process is gonna take a lot longer.
Yeah, the process I would, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Cause I
It
think
was more involved than I I thought.
Cause then you probably have, if you get that procedure established and adopted, you know, who's gonna be the person that you're.
Well, that was also in my thing too, then you almost need to hire someone part-time, or someone in the city, you know, has to take on that part, yeah.
There's gotta be some training in that side of things.
We can't just enter the 2080 agreement with this private grant,
You didn't offer it, huh?
I said something.
That's kind of my question too, can't we just, is he willing to do that?
Well, and there's other places that will do this, like ECIA, I think, to do rental. Well, and I think there was part of that too, I put in that email, like, a lot of the stuff is rental
Yeah.
property stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a whole separate
Yeah.
issue,
Wow.
and,
We have that too.
Yeah, the three properties that I have in mind here are not, they're owned by,
yeah, so,
meters were pulled on them and it just gone. And, did put the one up here on Stephens, I did put a mow your grass label on their door, and they did mow it all, so, somebody's mowing the grass, but, you know, it's, doors are open, windows are, screens
Yeah,
are ripped.
hole in the foundation like that.
yeah.
You can only imagine the critters that get in there, and then down there the same way, so.
Well, and that's what it's gonna turn into up there, is if nothing fits
Nothing
this.
happens with it,
It's,
same thing.
it's gonna be the exact same thing.
So that's why I think that you get started on that, one, so we know what we're doing when it comes time.
Yeah.
You know, and then even, you know, down on that, you know, there's a new home getting built right over here that has to look at things that aren't so you know, nice on the side. So I think we can get to that point, we need to focus on some of that, but it goes to our whole goal here of what we wanna do. And, you know, I think we need to be, you know, your neighbors need to take care of the property, you know, it just brings your property values down and your quality of life and everything else is, you know, is involved with some of this.
So is this something, so if we need to adopt this, is
Well, I
that-
think that's a
do we
bigger
wait?
conversation, and maybe, you know, and I think the police department could probably handle a little bit of that stuff, but I guess I just feel that's something maybe should be put on Chad if we're really, the cars and the grass, that's fine, but beyond that scope, I think it needs, I don't wanna tax my police department.
I'll do the background as far as taking the pictures and getting that, and a brief description of what's going on here, and dates on who lived their last utilities pulled, and then give that to the city attorney and have him look at that and our code and see what he could do. Maybe a letter goes out, maybe something happens, you know, give it some time. Obviously, it's not gonna happen, you know, we send a letter, it's just not gonna poof. You know, it's gonna be time.
Yeah,
It's, you know, nothing ever works fast, things like that.
yeah, I don't know if city attorney can, you know, if we can find them and then get them in court, you know, that's what you have to do.
Have we contacted, I mean, just been knocked on the door and contacted these people and just say, hey, this is, you know, needs attention, are you willing to take care of it before we have to go through some of those things?
Yeah, I don't.
One's like a living trust, the actual, I pulled the Beacon report on it, and it's actually in a trust, so there's who to contact there, and I guess we have to look and see what the last, any forwarding numbers, and then there's one that's, it's a company or an incorporation that has a bunch of homes around.
And them are the hardest to deal with, cause they got plenty of, they don't care, and they have plenty of money.
But if we, I mean, just send a letter and say, hey, you know,
Well, I think
we
you
need to
have to.
address this, we're gonna
documentation.
pursue it, would you please, you know?
Yeah, and them types of things, like I said, I'll do the back, the footwork on it, but I really, in a home, I would urge you to have like the city attorney be involved in that. Cars and the yeah, that's not a big deal. But this, you know, as a bigger fish, and I think we should probably do that right from the beginning, and,
I agree, for the ones we're talking about, let's start there, let's have Chad do that, let's send him a letter, and let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and if it takes us, I mean, that's what I was kinda asking too before, like, is adopting that national, is that something we can do right away?
Oh, I think we probably could.
You know,
I think you're
and
just
then-
adopting it. I think if you really wanna do it, I think you adopt that, but then you maybe try to get a board to help you get all this established and do some of the legwork on it.
how many people you talk, like 5, 7 people?
Yeah, he didn't, I guess I didn't ask him, but yeah, there's, you know, of course, like any other board, it's hard to get people on it, you know, unless you got some money to pay that, you know, that board could help draw up, you know, stuff to how we're gonna deal with it, the steps. Yeah, it's a long process, I guess. You know, city, and then I guess city hall, and the police department can do so much, but then after that, I think it's gonna have to go to hire another company or hire somebody.
But again, we don't need to reinvent the wheel,
No.
there's things we can adopt from other cities
Yeah.
that are doing this.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think we start with letters and see where that goes, and then,
It's compliance, yeah.
we walk before we run, you know, this is how you do it.
All these.
Well, and you probably learn a lot sending these letters, talking to the city attorney. I know they charge a lot, but
Yeah,
Even
what-
even our existing code that I put in the packet does say, give some guidelines on vacant properties and stuff. I mean, you can start with sending that even though it's not.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
We're not gonna tear it down, it's just.
Well,
I like to get started on
They
those.
start getting warnings, you know, as you start getting letters, you know.
No, you're staying after them.
Well, and the sooner we start on it, then if it does go all the way, it takes a while and goes to court, you know, hey, here's when we first started, here's our first letter we sent, we've got.
Yeah,
we
you got
started
that
the process,
trail
We've
and
got
you
that
know
trail and say that we've been on this for,
yeah,
you know, we started out with just letters asking to take care of your property and.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Chad can document all that, he knows how to do all that stuff, but, yeah. We used to do a lot of that at the PD until like Brad took over, you know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, does it have to come from the police department, or can it just come
No.
from city hall?
They come from City Hall, yeah. It just has to be documented, you know.
Yeah.
No, I think City Hall
I
can do
can-
a lot of that. You two can work together on it, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's good at wording that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I think Chad can do a lot of it, but then there's a point, I guess my opinion is like, okay,
Yeah.
he's got other things.
I guess when it gets down to interpretation of the city code and how it applies to, you know, that's, you know, I need a
Yeah.
couple more years of school before I
Right,
start
yeah.
being able to officially,
Yeah, like.
I think we can contact our lawyer, let's do it, get the ball rolling, let's.
Yeah,
let's-
yeah,
It's
don't-
gonna
You two work
cost
together,
us,
get the lawyer involved,
let's get it
let's
done.
get the letter sent.
Yeah, it's,
You know,
these processes always cost money, it's just the way it is.
well, see, letter first and, you know, just like what we'll do with the vehicles, you know, as long as you guys are good with that.
Yeah.
You might get some phone calls, you know, does rattle some people.
They call all day out.
It's been here for 20, 30 years, you know, what's the problem, all this stuff. So, you know, I guess you guys have to field some of them, maybe.
That's okay.
Comes with the territory.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, I mean, that's something that, you know, there's obviously, you guys have a vision that you wanna clean the city up, and so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that sounds like a good starting point, and yeah, like I said, we're gonna stay on top of this. We'll update it every meeting, so, yeah, I think we start with letters and see where that gets us and go from there. So. Okay, Chad, you got anything else?
I don't think so, I think I'll be gone next week for the SRO school. It's up by Milwaukee, it's in Hartford, Wisconsin, that's the closest one I can find, it's
Okay.
about 2 hours, 3 hours away. I'll be up there next week. Other than that,
You gotta hang out with our guy, couple days.
I am going to, yeah, I've already talked to him, and, you know, once we get school rolling, I'll spend half a day up there just following him around and seeing, getting his perspective and, you know, so.
He can come down this way too if you need a word, you know. I'd approve that if you want him to come down and get pointers down here or
You
whatever.
bet, anything, yeah.
I'll let you guys work that out.
Yeah, hit the ground running here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be here. Well, it seems like after the 4th of July, the summer just.
Yeah, it's gone.
You're telling me.
It's gone.
It's faster.
Okay, alright, sounds good, well, thanks Chad. Okay, last one, library AC in need of repair or replacement.
Like, on and off, she's been having trouble with not having, her AC not working.
Okay.
So Tom fixed it a couple times, or got it running temporarily for a couple times, and it was determined it needed replacement of compressor. And then the air conditioners on the rooftop anyway. And to replace the compressor is $6,726.60. And Tom also quoted a new unit for $20,775. So I guess, and I hadn't, I guess, I did have these, but I didn't, I just wanted to talk about it. She's gonna talk about it with her board members tonight, see what direction they wanna go.
How old
And-
is, any idea how old that unit is up there?
Is it original?
Same as the building?
Original. Yeah.
I think it's
HVAC
built-
guy, it was,
Yeah, 99, I think.
I called Tom after seeing this and asked him what other parts, kind of back to the hydrant, what else can go wrong? Well, I guess there's 2 compressors. Maybe
Oh, this is the, I think the 20,000 is to replace them both.
The 20,000 is
That's
still
the
like
whole
whole new
unit.
unit.
That's a whole unit.
But this is just one compressor
So
replacement.
by the time you
And the
replace
one
2, you're at
compressor-
14, you're at 15.
Well, yeah, both compressors have equally ran just as long. How long before that other one dumps out? We're sticking another $7,000.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Into an old system. Yeah.
There is funding through a library trust account that has been sitting there for years and years, since Mildred had the library at the Anderson building. And that's got 14,500 into it. And we could find a way to close out that account with some funds. And then Caroline said the rest of it could possibly be funded through, when the building was built, there was funds left over from the community foundation. There's like a set aside strictly for the library
Okay.
for upkeep, those kinds of things. And there's a couple of things they're gonna talk about tonight. Their water fountain has been leaking and spitting all over for quite some time. She'd like to get an updated one so people can actually fill their water bottles when they come in. And she'd like to have that updated, and ever since we got the fob systems and the handicap doors, her library door has been out of commission for at least a couple of years, the handicap. And elderly patron her.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get some updates done, and,
Yeah, let's get stuff.
you know, with
fixed.
the trust money she has and the foundation money, she should be able to get a few
Great
things
idea.
taken care of.
Yeah, my recommendation is if it's the same as the building, put it.
We're okay with going.
Yeah, it's time.
I just had a.
Well, yeah, keep us updated.
Sure.
and let us know. Okay.
Just a couple notes on my side, this big software upgrade is tomorrow. We put a little blurb out on the website, or on Facebook, that we'll probably have very limited access to, we won't have any access to our software. No people's accounts, can't look up any vendors, can't do anything on the software side. And that's supposed to be at least till noon. And then our trading on the new system starts in 2 sessions and during the afternoon. So we may close the door and put a note on it in training, you know.
I'd say just do it.
Yeah.
We
Focus on
have
what you
to,
need to.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be of help to anybody, not know what we're doing anyway, so. So that's all tomorrow. We did have a meeting with the Text My Gov gal, our team leader, or not Brigham that was here last week, but Emma, and lasted about an hour, and she went through system setups and the things that it'll do, and she said they had purchased that dedicated phone number for the city, and tested it and got automatically 403 phone numbers that are automatically signed up.
Okay.
That's not all in Preston. She showed us on the website that, it's probably, it encompasses the outer area of town too, but a lot of them are in the downtown business district and stuff, so. And she showed us how to get, sign in and marketing stuff and how people can get signed up for it and everything, so it was pretty informative.
Okay, good deal. Okay.
Yeah. Ray and I are going to the WPPI roundtable, meeting on Thursday. And I guess I have a Jackson County Economic Development meeting tomorrow night, so, yep, in and out,
Sounds good.
Busy week.
busy week.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Does anybody have anything else? Alright, sounds good. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
roll call please.
Was that Matt?
Matt and then me.
Matt?
Matt P.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
Matt Jordan,
Yeah.
Dylan Meyer,
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
Matt Peters.
Yes.
7:06.